Hi, I am Johanna Caroline Malmgren. I think you have kind of met me already, but let me show you who I am really quick. So Grandma and Grandpa Manwaring, and great Grandma and Grandpa Manwaring, great Grandma and Grandpa Capson, and great Grandma and Grandpa Capson, and that's me right there, Johanna Caroline Banksdottir Malmgren. That's my whole name. And I lived in Sweden. That's clear across the ocean. There's England, and here's Sweden right here. That country's Sweden. It's a long, kind of thin country. So that's where I lived. And I lived with my mom and dad. And this is my dad, Bengt. That's his name, Bengt. And my mom, Cecilia. And we call her Sissa, just Sissa. And then my older brother, Niels. And then my younger brother, Sven. Hi, Sven. And while we were in Sweden living, there were some missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. And they came and they taught about the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. And I got baptized. I was about 15 years old. I got baptized. And we had the country of Sweden, our government didn't really like a new religion, and so we had to hide. We went to church in a barn at night, and the barn belonged to Carl Capson. I think you have met him. And he was kind of our presiding elder at that church, like he kind of like the bishop, in his barn at night. That's where we went to church. So we had to do, so we wouldn't get in trouble. And eventually, Carl, he left, and he came to America. And I got arrested. Because for going to church, for joining this new church, and I got arrested, and they put me in jail. And because the government didn't like having a different church than what they had, and so they put me in jail, and they said, we will let you out if you don't belong to this church anymore, if you don't belong to the church. And I said, no, I cannot do that. I want to belong to this church. I think it's true. And I want to belong. And they kept me in jail for 3 days. And I had some bread and some water. For 3 days, that was all I had to eat. I didn't have any juice or fruit or anything, any vegetables, nothing. That's all I had. And my brother, Niels, my other brother, came and asked, well, can we pay something? Can we get her out of jail? Why does she have to be in jail? Can we get her out? And they said, no. She can leave jail if she leaves Sweden. That's it. She has to leave the country. Okay, all right, okay. I will leave Sweden then. I will leave. I can go to Utah. And so they let me out of jail. And Niels took me down to the shore, and so that's the ocean, that's our country, there's Sweden. Took me down to the shore, and we got a little boat, and he rowed me. Let me show you. So we're up here in Sweden, in this country, and he rowed me across this little sea into Denmark. So it was okay to do this to be a member of this church in Denmark, well, for now. And it doesn't look very far, but it's a long way for a rowboat. And so we got in our little rowboat, and he rowed me out across the ocean to Denmark. And while I was in Denmark, I got a chance to go to America. I couldn't go back to Sweden. I couldn't see my family anymore. But I got a chance to go to America, and I said, I'll go to America. We're going to go to America. And so we got a ship. There's a ship. There were some of us that were going to America, and so we all got on this ship and started sailing to America. And while I was on the ship, the captain of this ship thought I was really pretty and kind of cute, and he liked me. And he said, "Want to marry me?" And I said, "No, I'm going to Utah. I'm going to be with Zion." And I don't think he liked me telling him no, and he really wanted to marry me, and he was gonna like kidnap me and just keep me on a ship and just make me marry him. And so some of my friends that I had made on this ship, they had to hide me, and so I had to hide for the rest of the voyage. Yeah, I just gotta put you back here. Nobody can see it. Nobody can see. Oh, where's Johanna? Where did she go? And she's hiding. I had to hide the whole rest of the voyage. Shh, don't tell anybody I'm back here. And then when we finally got to where we were going, they'd sneak me off the ship. Come on, shh, be quiet. Come on, let's get off the ship. Okay, so I was safe. All right. So we got some covered wagons, and we headed across to go to Utah. There's those covered wagons. And what we did was, with those covered wagons, we had our oxen and our horses to pull them, and the very oldest pioneers and the very youngest pioneers could ride in the wagons, and all the rest of us walked. We were happy to walk. And we just walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked. There's a lot of walking when you're a pioneer. Well, one thing we had was we had some cows with us. We had the oxen to pull our wagons and horses, and we had some cows with us, and we could milk those cows, and we would and then we could drink the milk, and also we would put some milk in our bucket and tie it onto the back of the wagon, and so it would swing on the wagon all day long, push, 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 push on the back of the wagon, tied on. And when it got nighttime, we would have butter in a little bucket. And so we had butter and we had milk the whole way across the plains. And we were very glad for that, because it is hard to pack enough food. And so that was very helpful to have the cows with us. That was really nice. And when we got to Utah, you come in at a place called Immigration Canyon. That's how you get to Salt Lake, right there, down that canyon, past those mountains, and then you're in Salt Lake. And meeting us there at Immigration Canyon was that guy, Carl Capson. Do you remember him? He was there to meet us. And that was fun to see him again. And we got married. Carl and I was his second wife, because he was a polygamist. That means he has more than one wife at one time. And so I was his second wife. And so we lived in Utah, and one thing Carl did, he was a gardener. He knew how to grow things really well, and so he worked with some other people to figure out what can grow in Utah, because it's a very different kind of a place. It's a desert, and we need to just figure out what all can grow here, just which seeds are gonna do well, and what plants, and if they're just gonna die. But he worked with some other people doing that, and he also worked around Temple Square. He planted some of these trees around Temple Square. Isn't that nice? And so I'm so glad to be here, and I'm glad I married a good man instead of just a guy who thought I was cute on the boat. And I'm glad I was able to come and be true to Jesus Christ and his gospel, and come here to Zion.